Hi, I made about $125,000 of profit last month, and that was my first ever $100,000 month. And I wanted to share what I would do if I started again from scratch, right? If I was making 1,000 a month, 5,000 a month, 10,000 a month, or more, doesn't matter. How I would scale to $100,000 a month. I'm talking about profit, right? And also not killing yourself in the process, having great client results, and doing something that actually matters and fulfills you, right? So first of all, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Harold. I'm 22 years old. I crossed my first $1 million online at the age of 22. Recently, I became one of the winners of the competition called The 100 from Alex Hormozi, where we 20x'd one of our communities to $210,000 in 90 days. And right now, we have also paid community where we make about $20,000 of monthly recurring revenue from that alone. And we have about 1.5% churn, meaning that people like it and almost no one leaves, which is crazy for this industry. We also have one of the best client results already in such a short period of time from some of the top people in this world marketplace. To learn about that, you can go to results.achievegreatness.com and you can see real verified results from people scaling their businesses to even more than $100,000 a month or more. So none of this is magic. All of this takes work. But now I'm going to share with you exactly what I would do to make this money. So let's get into it so you can hopefully avoid so many mistakes I've made that can help you to get here faster. So the first thing that is important for us to know, and I have some notes here that I have on my computer to make sure to be as efficient as possible to give it the most value, is pay attention and not pay attention to what people say, but what they do. So I will write here, pay attention, right? Pay attention. Hopefully you can see. Sorry for the handwriting. Hopefully you can still see this fine. But what do I mean here by pay attention? If I started again, I wouldn't just listen to people because that's what I used to do, right? But most of the people are out there to sell you something, right? And of course, we want to make money as well. And that's one of the reasons that we do make content online, but it's not the only reason, right? But for the most of the marketplace, they don't care. They would tell you anything, they would promise you anything just for you to learn their tactic, how to grow your business, how to make 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, whatever, just for you to buy, right? So instead of paying attention to what people tell, because they told me a million things that I tried that didn't work, right? I would pay attention to what they do, right? For example, for a very long time, when I started by making only $4 a month online when I was 16, right? So it's been a long time, like 6 years where I'm actively working on this, just on this. Like I started making money even before that when I was 13, I made my first dollar. So I was here for a very long time in this journey and I failed a lot, right? And a lot of this process was me watching YouTube videos and learning about how to grow your business, how to start a business, how to scale your business, etc. Right? But the one mistake I made is that I was just trusting people, right? Everyone, hey, yeah, you should go and do this thing. I went and did that thing. Oh yeah, probably shouldn't do that thing. I stopped, right? So I was very impulsive. I didn't have a decision and I didn't stick to it. And the reason was because I was just distracted all the time. So how to solve this, right? Instead of paying attention to what people say, because it's still good to learn from people, I think a lot of the times you should pay attention to what people do, right? For example, a bunch of the videos that I was watching on YouTube on how to grow your business, I should have understood that these people telling me how to grow a business, one of the things they have in common is they have YouTube channels and they make content, right? So I should have started that way earlier. Now, I have had faceless channels before. That's why I have these play button. A bunch of people call it fake. It's not fake, but yeah, without getting into it too much details, I had faceless channels before that I also monetized. We made hundreds of thousands of dollars with that as well. I have videos on that with proof. You can go and check it out if you want. But anyway, I was on YouTube for a long time, right? But I didn't have a personal brand channel that I should have had. And instead of paying attention to do this, do that, I should have just done what people are doing, right? So my question to you would be, if you want to make $100,000 a month, right? If you want to scale to that or beyond and achieve that goal, what people that make $100,000 a month or more do, right? Let's pay attention to that. Not what they say, but they do. Let's have a look at Alex Hormozi, Sam Ovens when he was posting, Iman Gadzhi, Hamza, Charlie Morgan, William Brown, Dan Bolton, right? Bayesian Slot. Who else would there be? A lot of other people, right? What are they doing? These are great people. That are Ravi Abuvala, right? They are making much of money in this space. You maybe recognize some of them, maybe you don't, but we can pay attention to what they are doing, right? And I would say now 100% of them, if I'm not mistaken, post videos on YouTube, and they've been doing it for a long time. Most of them, not everyone, right? So probably by paying attention to what most people do, probably you should consider that instead of just listening to what they do. Now, do you have to have a YouTube channel to make $100,000 a month? No, you don't have to. But if you notice things that the people that are making it have in common, you should copy that. You should copy what works and don't listen and trust everyone randomly. Okay, the second thing that I wrote down here in my notes that I think is important is get in the room, right? Get in the room. So what do I mean here? So you don't have to pay for this, like I did. I remember when I had my first $36,000 that I made, 34 I think. I invested all of that into a coaching program. It was 3 or 4 years ago. I don't remember exactly. I think 3 years ago. 2022. So yeah, 3 years ago, I invested $36,000 into this Instagram mentorship that I had, and it was all the money I had. And one of the reasons I was doing it is to get into the room. Right now, you don't have to spend all of that money. I definitely got into the room for free sometimes, right? By helping someone or by joining a free community or by joining a call that is accessible, right, or free, etc. But if you get into the room of people that are making $100,000 a month, that's that's the soonest way that you can get there. For example, me, like probably you know this platform called Skool. If you don't, then it's a community platform or a course platform. You can call it that way. In the beginning of 2024, last year already, it's 2025. Crazy how fast time flies. But anyway, in 2024, I wanted to get into this platform. I was using Skool for years, for a very long time. But when I wanted to kind of become an authority on that platform, I said, how can I do that, right? And one of the ways that came to my mind that I did that worked for me so well was to get into the room, and that's what I did, right? I paid for it. I flew to Las Vegas to meet Alex Hormozi and Sam in person. I did a lot of things, right, that we can get into later. I don't want to make this video 2 hours long to not bore you, but I basically did everything I could, everything ethical I could, by helping people, by doing them favors, by asking, right, to get into the room with these people. And not that long time passed, and now I'm an investor in Skool, right, which is pretty wild transformation to go from wanting to get some credibility in the platform. Now we helped countless people scale their communities. We helped a bunch of top creators on Skool, from the top of all time, people that make hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. And now we are even investor in Skool. Like I flew and I met Alex Hormozi and Sam in person. I was one of the winners of the 100 cohort from Alex Hormozi that probably will never repeat itself. It was one of a kind, and we were one of the top winners. But anyway, where we generated $210,000 in 90 days. I even have a video. I will link it right now. It will pop out. My call that I got from Alex Hormozi as a bonus, where we discussed how we can grow our business even more. But anyway, so how this all happened, right? By me getting into the room. Because I got into the room and I started interacting with these people, asking them questions and seeing how they do what they do, right? That's how crazy transformations happen for me in 2024. So if you can pay for it, if you can do it for free, doesn't matter. Go to seminars, buy courses, watch trainings for free on YouTube, join communities. It can be from anyone, right? Doesn't have to be something specific or me or someone, doesn't matter. It just needs to be someone that already achieved the goal that you want to achieve, and you need to get into the room with them, right? Not necessarily a physical one, although it would be great, but even if it's Zoom, right, online or whatever, that would still show your make your brain see the possibilities for you to grow and make money, because you will be surrounded by these people, right? And we do become who we spend our time with, and this is one of the biggest things I've done sooner, because I wasted years just watching random videos, listening to everyone instead of just watching what they do and copying it, and also getting into the room so I see with my eyes what they are doing, and I see how they think and what they do, and I get close to them, right? Instead of doing that, I wasted my time. So if I start this with the first 2 things I would do, because you can grow on Instagram, you can grow on YouTube, you can grow on TikTok, you can have a sales calls via sell funnel, you can just grow with affiliates, you can do anything to scale. You can just hire team members, you can do it alone to get to 100K a month. There are so many ways, but the 2 things is to pay attention. The people that are crushing it, right? What are they doing? What do they have in common? And getting into the room with them. That's going to be the first domino, or the first dominoes that will fall or make fall so many other dominoes in place, right? So it's one of the highest leverage activities that you could do. Cool. The third thing that I have here that I would tell to myself if I wanted to make 100K a month again, if I started from not scratch, but can be 5K a month, 10K a month or more, also maybe from scratch, doesn't matter. It would be this thing, which is optimize for value. Sorry for my handwriting, hope you can understand it, but optimize for value. So why this matters, right? Why this is important is because a lot of the times to scale to this level, right, we need to understand that we are going to have a bunch of decisions to make, right? if you want to scale to 100K a month, you will have to choose. Like you will have to choose how you get traffic, what kind of program you sell. Do you have two programs? That one is the upsell, one is the regular one. Which one do you present to people first? Do you do the self-close yourself or do you have a closer? Should you have a closer? Should you sell with webinars? Should you have a community? Community free and paid? Only free, only paid and high ticket program? How many team members should you have? Should you run ads or not? Like what should you do, right? To scale. Like there's so many ways, so many opportunities, so many things people tell you. So as a filter that really served me well, but I recently learned this, right? Actually got us to this point, was optimizing for value. And this is now how I try to make decisions. For example, I had a decision, should I, like, bunch of beginners watch our content, which is fine. That's why we make content. A lot of it is for free, so for people to learn. I was a beginner, I still am in a big grand of scale of things, right? There are trillionaires out there, so like we are all just getting started. But we could help beginners, right? But I thought, like, should I do that? Should I just focus on that? Or should I work with people that already started, are serious about their goals, are taking action, are already making money, can be little, can be a lot, and want to scale, right? For example, we work with a bunch of 7-figure entrepreneurs, not a bunch of 8-figure entrepreneurs, some 8-figure entrepreneurs, but we work with a bunch of 6 and 7-figure entrepreneurs and help them scale. And I was thinking, should I do that or should I focus on beginners, right? Or should I do both? And this is how I make decisions. I think, okay, who do I create more value for, right? How can I optimize for more value created? So I sat there and thought, oh my God, we had this client that came to us. We did something, right? Her name is Alexa, I will tell you. She was making 1.2K a month. She wanted to scale to 4K a month. Now she's making more than 10K a month consistently, and she's gonna grow even more. She did like 72K in a record month that we worked together. So she wasn't a complete beginner. So when I look at her results and a bunch of people like that, and the results of the beginners, I can still help them, but I can create more value for this person. Meaning that I should probably go with that. I should work with people that are already crushing it and want to crush it even more, or maybe they need help to scale, right? But they're already doing something. They're not just sitting there waiting for 5 years. So maybe someday I will start some, they probably have a niche, clear offer, are making sales, they want to scale, they want to take it to the next level, right? So that's how I make decisions. Back then I would say, hey, but there are more beginners, so I should work with more beginners because there's just more of them, right? Or I shouldn't. By the way, you can work with beginners, make a lot of money, that's not the point. But for me specifically, when I look at it, I realize who can I create the most value for, and in this case is for not beginners. So I decided to do that, and that's some directions that we're taking right now. So that's the first thing that helped me. It's like in any decision, this was just an example, ask yourself, what would create more value, right? Hey, should I have just a $7 ebook or should I have a one-on-one program? Well, which one would create more value for your customers, right? If the $7 ebook, then do that. If the one-on-one mentorship, do that. So at least that's how I would do it, right? Hey, should I just post random TikTok videos, right? Or like, should I create long-form educational value-based YouTube videos? Well, which one will create more value for your audience? Most likely the YouTube videos. So probably you can consider doing that, right? Hey, should I just automate all my emails with AI or should I just spend the time to make them good? Well, which one will create more value? The one that's just automated and just like generic, right? From AI, or the thing that you spend time on, you made it good, you made it something that once people consume, they will get value from it. Of course, that one, so probably go with that. So to scale to 100K a month, there's so many of these decisions, and one filter that really worked for me personally really well was optimize for value, right? That's what you can use as a filter to make decisions. Cool. So the next one, the number 4 in my list here, is stay consistent for 1 to 3 years. So this is obvious. So before you skip this, give me 10 seconds if you can, and I will explain, if you want, of course, why you should give it 1 to 3 years and why it took me so much. And like why that number, right? So I will write 1 to 3 years. Staying consistent, right? Very important. It's not that just 3 years passed or 1 year passed, but like you were consistent, right? During this. So, okay, so let's have a look back at some parts of my journey. So this is the first time where we made well over $100,000 a month of profit, right? Now, that being said, it took me about like 1 year to really get into the place where this is even possible, right? For example, I had another business last year where we did at max like 54,000 a month, I think. So we're making about 50K a month, right? Now, that one also, funnily enough, took me about 1 year, right? So I have had a faceless channel. That one to get to consistent 10K a month took me like 1.5 years. Consistent we are talking about, right? So that's 1.5 years. So the reason I'm putting 1 to 3 is because like from experience, looking at people, looking at the trajectories, usually it takes 2 to 3 years, right? But you can achieve it in 1 year. There are people that do it faster than me. It can be less than a year as well, right? But usually to get to this point, if you're already making money, you already want to scale, probably it will take 1 to 3 years of consistency. If you want to get here with great client results, with proof, with profit, because it's not about how much you make, but how much you keep. There's a bunch of people say, I make 100K a month, or I made 100K a month, right? But it's revenue. They have 5 partners. They take 10K a month home. They have taxes. They actually make 5K a month. You might not believe me, but this happens to so many people. So to do this with almost non-existent churn, with happy customers, with great reputation, with feeling fulfilled, right? With not giving crazy guarantees to people that you can't promise, like this 100K a month is so different than some random 100K months. So to get here, I think from my experience will take this long, right? And if you already have some friction, good. You think you can do it like faster when you listen to this? Awesome. Go and do it in 6 months. I'm not saying let's lay there and do nothing, right? Go and take action every day. Like you need to achieve something in 3 months, otherwise you're gonna die, right? But still, you need to be prepared to potentially do it for such a long time to build the strong foundations for something lasting, right? So you keep growing, so you keep making something actually meaningful. And for that, usually it will take time. Now, you maybe are already 1 year in this journey, or 2 years, or 2.5, right? So you just need to keep going a little bit more. And this is not a guarantee at all, but this is what I've seen usually takes. So if I gave advice to me, I would say, hey, don't go for shortcuts, don't try to do it in 3 months, just pick something that you like, that you see that others are doing, not only they're saying they're doing, right? The point number one, pay attention to what people actually do. And if you want, take inspiration from that, then get into the room, right? See how these people actually operate, get close to them, optimize for value, right? And then I would tell myself, do that for 1 to 3 years. Do that, you won't regret it. Time is gonna pass anyway. You want it to compound, you want it to compound into the leverage that you want in the future, right? Like for example, how we got here is a lot of ways by learning how to actually attract the right types of customers for us to actually provide value to them. So this is a skill that I keep, and we made most of this money, by the way, from word of mouth, which is crazy. People telling others, right, about our services. That's how much we help them, at least based on data, right? That's why I don't know why they're first. So probably they like it. They probably do, and that took this much time, right, of me to building that skills, that reputation, finding something that I'm that excited to go over and beyond for people, etc. So it took so much, but now I can keep this skill, right? Because the more people refer, we make them happy, more people we have that can refer us, and it kind of compounds. So that's what I mean by saying 1 to 3 years, because if you use this time well and you stay consistent, not only you can get to the goal, to this or to even more, to 100K a month, but you can do it the right way where it will keep compounding. That's what I mean by 1 to 3 years, in my opinion. Cool. Now, the next one that I think is important is this idea of a flywheel, right? Maybe I will mispronounce it, by the way. Yes, let me know, or misspell it. But the point is, you probably know what that is. You have heard about it. But basically, you want to have a system where it grows on itself, right? So let's say it's a circle, right? And like the more of this thing that you do, right, the more it comes back to here, and then it continues, and then the more it grows and kind of it compounds on itself, right? You can think about it like as a snowball, right? If you push it to the top of the mountain, but then you push it down, it will kind of compound on itself, because the more the mass it gets, right, and speed, the faster it becomes even, right, and more speed it has, and then the faster it keeps getting mass, and then the faster, so it compounds on itself, right? You get the point. But why this is important for business is because there's flywheels in any business, but it either works against you or for you. And if I started again and I wanted to make 100K a month step by step, I would tell myself, try to have as many flywheels working for you as possible. For example, YouTube, right, and client results is a flywheel. Let me explain. If I go and get results from my clients, I can talk about it on YouTube, which can grow our YouTube audience, which will bring us more clients, which can help us make more clients successful because we have more clients to work with, and that can help us to have more stories to tell on YouTube, which can attract more clients, and it can compound like this, right? Where most people, they can, let's say, do outreach to get clients, which is fine, but you can do that, get a client, not get good results for them. Now it doesn't compound. You need to do still more outreach, and each time your word of mouth becomes even more negative. So if someone sees that you reached out to them, if considering you have been in business for a long time and you have been doing a terrible job, they would see, oh, I know this person, I've heard that they are not good, right? And they won't work with you. So it's a flywheel working against you. The more cold outreach you do, the less people you're gonna reach out to and have to reach out to with time. But each time you need to do more to get the client, but each time you get the client, you don't get the good results for them. So each time you reach out, less people are gonna get back to you if they've heard bad things about you. Now, at scale, you can do a bunch of cold outreach and no one even knows that you exist. Let's be realistic, right? No one knows that I exist, right? At the big grand scale of things at all. Meaning that you shouldn't worry about it really, but you get the idea. It's not a flywheel that works with you or for you, it works against you, right? Where this is definitely a flywheel that works for you. For example, starting a community, let's say on Skool. It is a positive flywheel. Why? Because the more members you get, assuming these are the right members, right? And it's a good community and all of that. But if people join, the more members there are, the more active it becomes. The more active it becomes, the more people want to engage because there's more stuff going on. Once they post, people help them, people get back to them. There's the community helping them. Now, the more people join, and because people tell their friends, the more people join the community, the more active it becomes, and the more it gets better and better and better with time, not worse and worse and worse. So if I start again, I would tell myself, get a flywheel, get something that compounds, right? For example, even as a simple idea as an email list, it is a compounding thing. Why? It won't just randomly grow itself and compound overnight, but if you capture people's emails and you constantly provide them value by emailing your list, for example, then not only you can provide them value one time, but for as long as they don't unsubscribe, you got their email one time, you can email them 50 times or 100 times over the next year, so that you have that many opportunities to give them value, so therefore they might buy something from you, refer a friend, etc., and basically become a client of yours so you can make money if that's your goal, right? So yeah, that's how it can be a flywheel, right? But if you don't do that, then it doesn't compound for you because you don't have people's emails, you have no way to follow up with them, to contact them, to keep reminding people about you, etc. So this is another example of flywheel, and again, there's a bunch of flywheels that work against you, so you just need to ask yourself, if I had a flywheel, what flywheels I have in my business and works against me? What's the thing, the more I do that, the worse it gets, right? For example, one of the most common things we see is people don't get good results for their clients and good experience, meaning the more clients you get, right, the harder it is for you to fulfill, the worse job you do, the more people are unhappy and they don't get the results, then it becomes harder to get new clients because people talk bad things about you and the word of mouth basically spreads, and now you need to get these new clients where that most of the marketplace doesn't trust you, right? But even if they do and you get them, you still have more clients, which makes it even more difficult for you to help the other clients. So in that situation, one of the worst things that you do, this is what I've learned from some others, I watched a video from years ago that really resonated with me, is and we've seen this work in practice, right? When I work with clients, the worst thing that you can do if you get clients that everyone is complaining all the time and you're not trying to improve it is to get another client, right? Because you are just making the problem bigger. But if you have good client results, people tell their friends, the more they'll tell their friends, the more people want to join, the more people join, they get amazing results, then it's a positive flywheel, right? So one of the biggest and most important flywheels, I think, is that client results. That's how we grow to this point. Most of the traffic was from word of mouth, which is crazy, right? So that's what helped us, right? And if we imagine we had the negative, we literally made this money because people telling good things to other people. I'm not saying this to brag, that was the reality. Now imagine the opposite, right? People telling actively to not buy our stuff. It would be, I wouldn't come even close to this, right? Because it would be so hard. So that's a flywheel that worked for me. That's why I was able to do it, right? Using AI sometimes can be a flywheel, right? What else? Personal branding is a flywheel tool. The better your the more content you make, usually the more your audience grows. The more audience you grows, the more people see your new content. If it's good, the more it grows. So creating content, personal branding is one of the most favorite and most powerful, flywheels as well. So I would consider having a flywheel. If I start again, I would say get into content, start posting personal brand, care about clients. Don't get into something that you see. The more you do this, the worse it's gonna get. Don't trade the long term for the short term, right? Do the opposite. Trade the short term. Trade the short term for the long term. So getting flywheels is definitely important to get to 100K a month, because without them, it's gonna be very hard for you to get to 100K a month. Possible, but very hard. So ask yourself, what's your flywheel? And if you don't know the answer, then probably you either don't have one or you have one that works against you. So you need to just cut that off, right? All right, so for example, last example I will give on that. Let's say you teach people how to run Facebook ads. Well, if you don't know how to run Facebook ads and you teach that, now people join you and they don't get good results, right? Talking about that, now you need to fake that you are able to get good profit Facebook ads. Now you're just growing a bubble that's going to just explode, right? Why are you doing it? You are just that doesn't have any foundations, right? So if you're in that situation, to scale here, go and learn how to do the Facebook ads, make your own ads profitable before teaching it to others, etc. And then if you fix that, now it's a flywheel. You know how to run ads, now you have more clients to teach to, the more clients you teach to and they get results, now you learn from the experience of running ads for them or with them, you implement it for your own ads, they do better, and now it can become a positive flywheel. So that's just a simple example of how you can think, do I have a flywheel? Am I ignoring a big problem, a big flywheel that works against me? How can I have a flywheel that will work for me, etc.? And that would be awesome. Cool. So that's about the flywheels. Okay, what do I have here as well? Cool. Yeah, number 6. Cool. Number 6, right? I hope I lost the count, but I think it was the fifth, the last one. So this one is number 6. So what I learned, and this is probably a little bit counterintuitive with the title of this video, which is how I would make 100K a month if I start again. Like, what would I tell myself? And I would tell myself that it's not about the money, right? And I will write it down, and I know that you will say, oh, damn, another person that made the money that says it's not about the money, right? But I will share why I think that. So it's not just about the money, right? It's not about the money, right? So why I'm saying this is because I remember, like, when I was 19, I think, now I'm 22. I've said this 5 times during this video, so you probably know, but yeah. I repeat it one more time for some reason. But it's late. What time it is? Like 11 p.m., you know? So I'm recording this video, so hope you guys won't kill me for this. But anyway, when I was 19 and I wanted to make, I remember I was thinking, what's the average salary in my country, right? And my country in Armenia, it's $500 a month. So I thought, what if I make like $1,000 a month, 2 times more than that, right? And damn, when I remember that, I get pretty emotional. Like when I was imagining that, I was thinking, oh my God, that would change my life so much, in so many ways. First of all, I can help my parents, I can help my family, we can buy things, right? We can have good experiences. I don't have to ask money to buy things that I want that, you know, would be good to have, right? Not something like extravagant or lavish, but like a good computer or something, right? Anyway, so I said, how good would that be, right? And I was dreaming about it and thinking about it, and I achieved that. And then it was awesome, but then the goal moved to, what if I make $500 a day, right? So it's like my monthly salary in my country in a day. And I achieved that. Then I thought, what if I make 50K a month? Then what if I have my first 100K a month? Then what if I have 100K a month profit? What if I have 100K a month or more hitting my bank account post-tax profit? What if I blah, 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 right? But each time you accomplish these milestones, and I'm not saying that I have generational wealth, I don't, right? I'm gonna keep growing. We obviously still want to make money. I'm not putting the image out there that we are the richest person in the entire world. No, right? But I covered well beyond my personal needs. I don't spend money on myself almost ever, right? And I can do pretty much whatever I want, like within reason. So I learned, right, that each time you achieve a goal, you just move the milestone, right? So what lesson we can learn from this? Is it that you shouldn't grow? I'm not sure about that, right? Probably because I would do the same thing. It was worth all the time. But I probably would pick decisions that would make the process as much enjoyable and meaningful as possible. For example, and that's what I did this year, which I'm proud of, and last year already, 2024. In 2023, we were making money, right? We were making again up to 50K a month or more. Before that, we had Faceless Channels making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. But there, I wasn't really enjoying it as much as possible. Like every couple of days, I was feeling very bad, very unmotivated. Why am I doing this, etc., right? But I should have made that change sooner. Like what change I made last year in 2024, I started working with people that I like. I started making videos that I like. Now it's 11 p.m. I'm making this video. Like, there's like, I'm not going to make much money from this, right? Because I'm not going to have any call to actions in this video. I decided so. The people that want to learn about it, they do. Obviously, we sometimes make videos that can get just a few hundred views, and we make sales from that worth tens of thousands of dollars. We have all the proofs. Yeah, but maybe a story for another day on how we do that, because it's not about how many people watch you, but who watches you. But anyway, in this particular video, like, it's not gonna make that much of a difference. Yes, it's gonna help me. That's why I'm also making this video for sure. But I like this, right? So I wish that I made these choices way before, not only in 2024, that I started doing things that can help me grow, but I also enjoy, right? So if you're right now in this situation and you want to scale to 100K a month, but you are doing something that you hate, I don't think it's a good way. It's a good decision to get to 100K a month if you genuinely hate it, right? If you don't, awesome, like ignore this part. But yeah, this is a lesson I learned the hard way, that it's not just about the money. So you should still grow, but pick things that you like and that you keep growing. Because the difference between me right now making money And back then it's so huge. Right now, I would prefer making 10K a month doing what I do now, right? That's how much difference there is when you enjoy what you do, which I do now, right? I genuinely love it, right? And that's why we have a bunch of word of mouth. You can't fake that stuff. You either care about your clients or you don't, right? And if you do and they get results, right, and your intentions are genuine and people see that you care about them too, they usually do tell their friends about it, and that's how we grow. So that's one of the proofs of that you don't have to just believe my word for it. But there's such a big difference, and counterintuitively, long term it makes you even more money, right? Because you stick to one thing, you let it compound, you are consistent for 1 to 3 years, right? It's natural for you to get into the rooms, right? Because you like it, you love it, so like you get there with the right energy, not with the desperate energy, and kind of all of the other things take care of themselves, right? And it also goes back to the first point which I made, which was pay attention to not only what people say, but what they do, right? And if you pay attention to most of the people that are really wealthy, right? That doesn't matter who it is. It can be Mr. Beast, right? The most subscribed YouTuber in the world. It can be Steve Jobs. It can be anyone. You look at them, right? Alex Hormozi, anyone, right? They like what they do, long term, right? Doesn't mean that you have perfect days, right? But they like what they do. So don't sacrifice everything to get here. It's not about that, right? You would rather make 100K a month or like hate it, or make 50K a month and love it, right? Probably the 50K amount of it, I would prefer that. I'm telling you from my experience. The best thing is to keep growing and like what you do. But this is a lesson I want you to learn that I would tell to my younger self, saying, yes, you want to get 200K a month from scratch, right? Here's the plan, go do it, but do it the right way. Because it's not just about that. It's also about how you get there. Both are important. So don't sacrifice the values, which I'm glad I didn't. I'm not perfect, but I didn't do any big mistakes that I regret. I did have a lot of mistakes, but like I never scammed people or did things like that, or like promised things that I knew weren't possible. Again, I'm not perfect, but I tried not to do the things. But still, I would tell myself, like, why the heck you do these faceless channels? Like, why do you do them if you don't? Now, if you want to grow to 10K a month, 20K a month, have freedom, do that, right? Awesome, like, good for you. That's what I did. But if you're not gonna be excited after that to grow that, maybe you should reconsider it. So, yeah, that's what I would tell myself, to pick things that I like, that I will not stop doing, so they can compound, so I can actually get there. Which is understanding it's not about the money, and also optimizing for the process, because it's important, so that you can also grow and enjoy it as much as possible as well. Cool. So the last one is this mini formula that I have, right? Which is gonna sound very cliche, but this is what I would tell myself, because people think it's only about the funnel. It's about, hey, do this funnel. Just you need to have this VSL funnel, exactly, nothing else. This is the only thing, and then you click here, and then you should have this type of YouTube videos, and you should have this offer, this price point. That's how you'll make 100K a month. In reality, that's total bullshit, right? People make 100K a month or way more, million a month, billions, right? In so many different ways. So it's not about that thing, it's about this like formula that I will share with you right now, and all these foundations, these principles I shared. Because with this, you can scale to 100K a month, guaranteed, if you do it and you give it enough time, right? But if you just focus on the tactics, you won't necessarily just get there, because it's not about that. It's about, you can give the tactics. There are millions of videos on YouTube about tactics, but most people aren't successful, right? Which shows that it doesn't work. So what works is shifting the beliefs, understanding these core things, so you do the foundation, so you grow, right? Cool. So now for the formula, right? What I learned is that about these 4 things, I hope it's 4. Sometimes I'm confusing, right? But I think it's 4. That when I was reflecting on my journey, I thought, like, what really made me successful, right? Because I was this kid that couldn't speak English. Now my English isn't perfect either, but I couldn't speak at all. So consider that, just several years ago. And I was watching all these people making money online, growing, having impact, achieving their potential, and I wanted to be like them, right? Because I knew I can do that. So I wanted to do that, and I thought, like, what I did, like, what was the things, because I did so many things right, so many things wrong. I grew this way. I know a bunch of people that grew that way, and they are still successful. So what is the thing that really I had in common? That is the thing that I think made me successful across the things that aren't under my control. Let's say you can say, hey, you're intelligent, right? Let's assume I am. If I am intelligent, if you think so, right? Then if that's the case, then it would be something genetic, right? So besides these things, some things that I could control, what did I do, right? These were these things. Number 1 is I really wanted it, right? Which might be still genetic as well, or a calling or something, because I don't know, but I really wanted it. I wasn't interested in growing, in having a business, in having actually great client results, in having a good credibility in the marketplace, in becoming an investor in Skool.com. I wasn't interested. I was committed. I really wanted it bad enough. So that's the first thing. Like, if you don't want this bad enough, most likely you won't accomplish it. Like if you really don't want this really, like really, right? Because sometimes it takes 18-hour workdays. Sometimes it takes 15-hour workdays for 1 month in a row, right? Sometimes it takes sacrifices and not seeing your friends or family or things like that, right? Or other things to get there. So you need to really want it. So that's number one. Number two, what I did is I actually learned, right? Like, yes, my first point that might be the opposite was that don't only listen to what people say, watch what they do. But I think me watching all these educational videos really helped me to change my mindset. I didn't know even what business is and that it exists, right? So I think learning was definitely one of the biggest parts, right? Because through learning, I also saw what people are doing. But if you don't learn about someone or what they do, then you can't pay attention to what they do, right? So like learning was a big piece for me. When I didn't have money, I was just watching YouTube videos for free. That's enough to get started with. When I had money, I wanted to work with someone on a more one-on-one basis to get results faster. I invested all the money I had and I keep doing it. I invested close to $200,000 right now into courses, mentorships, programs, and it was worth it. Not everything was great. Not all the programs, some were better than the others, but because I took action on all of them, every single one of them over the long time horizon gave me more returns than anything else, any other investment, right? So that was the second thing. I kept learning. That's what we are doing right now. I'm telling you, normal people don't watch this video to this point. Click on this video. Who is this guy? They clicked on it and you are watching this right now to this point. Most people don't, right? And you are, in a good way, in my opinion, weird. In a good way, right? I'm weird too. Hopefully that makes it better for you, right? To accept that. But we are weird, right? We can accept that. Or you can think that other people that aren't doing this are weird. That's up to you. But we are not like others. We can put it that way, right? I'm not saying we are better, but we are different. Meaning that if you are watching this video to this point, then you are already doing it. You are weird, you are learning, you are on the right track, right? Random people don't do this. So you already have it, which is a great news. But keep doing it because it really helped me. And that's what I would tell myself. If I wanted to make 100K a month, I would say keep learning, right? Because that's what you did. What was the formula? You just really wanted it and you kept learning. Now, the number 3 was probably the thing that most people fail at. A lot of people want it, right? They really want it. If you go and say, hey, do you want to grow to 100K a month? They really want it. Some people are ready to sacrifice for it, right? Some people say, yeah, I really want it, right? If you put some scanner on them and a lie detector, I say, do you want this? They say, yes, right? The detector will say it's true. They want it, right? So most people pass that. Number 2, most people watch educational videos that really want it. Most people that really want it learn at least something. They watch some YouTubers, they buy courses, they learn, right? They get some intake of information. Now, maybe not enough, but at least some. Now, third thing is where most people fail, which is simple, but still, that's the truth. Most people don't take enough action. Like they do, let's say, 1 unit of action from 100, right? Let's say they spend 1 day on making a YouTube video, or they spend 1 day on researching their competitors, or they spend 1 day of making 5 Instagram reels, or they spend 1 day to learn how to grow their business to work, whatever, right? When they should have spent 100 hours, days, weeks. You can't put anything on this, right? Or they send like 10 DMs where they should send 10,000. Or they made 5 YouTube videos and they gave up and they should make 500. So this is easy to say and hard to do, and that's the reason why most people stop. It's not that they are stupid, it's hard. That's why they stop, right? So it's logical. But still, if you want to make this happen, which we are watching this video till this point, I think you do, then you can't fail at this point. You should take action, right? And the more relentless and imperfect action you take, the more successful you will be, right? And I have this example for this. I was talking to a guy. He's also my age, and he's making about $1 million a month, right? So when I asked this guy, and I asked actually a friend of his that was living with him, right? Like, what's different about this guy? Why he's so successful, right? And he told me it's not about like his morning routine. It's not about what he does hard. Like, what it's about is that he takes massive imperfect action. For example, he wanted to move to this country, right? Instead of just thinking, should I do that, should I not do that? Same hour, he called like 50 or 100 agencies to learn about that country, how the taxes work, blah, blah. Boom, made the decision, did it. Instead of just calling one person every week to kind of think that he just called everyone he could, found all the numbers on the internet of brokers or whatever, called everyone, learned about it. Now he has enough data to make a decision, made the decision, took action on it. Boom. Now it's so much further ahead than if you just sat there and thought, right? You want to start a YouTube channel, you already have a YouTube channel, you have ideas on how to improve it, you want to start a community, you want to scale your community, you have a project that you have been putting off for a long time, you need to take massive action on that. And that's when you will be successful, right? That's what helped us to be one of the winners of the 100. We took massive action, right? Hundreds of calls, 12, 14, 16, sometimes 18-hour work days, just doing more than we did the previous year, right? That's why we grew relatively fast. So More action. That would be the number 3 thing, and pay attention to that because most people fail that. So probably by statistics, you might be one of them that might be in that gray area. So what I want to ask you is consider, if you want to, taking more action, right? If you take way more action, you will be way more likely to get to 100K a month. Cool. So that's number 3 of the formula. Number 4, obvious, simple. We all heard about it, but basically don't stop. Right? Don't quit, because there are so many people that got to 50K a month, 90K a month, 100K a month, and they stop. Then who cares? Who cares that you made it and then you disappeared? Like, what matters is that you keep doing it and it keeps compounding, right? And like, you don't just disappear. So like, even if you achieve the goal, are we gonna quit? No. Like, and if you aren't there yet, if you haven't achieved your goal, whatever it is, right? Why would you stop? Why would you quit? So like, it's an obvious point, but that's what also kills a bunch of people, right? They might taking action, but they do it for a week and then they quit, when they should do it for a year or 3, right? As we talked about today. Different for each person, but that would be the last piece of the formula. So this is exactly the 7 things I would tell myself to make 100K a month. If this was helpful, let me know in the comments. And my only request to you is, if this video was valuable, maybe you would find another video available that is right now on your screen, where Alex Hormozi himself showed me how we can scale to 300K a month. So if that's interesting, go and check it out, and I hope it helps you too. And I hope to see you executing on this and hitting 100K a month and even more with your business, and I'm sure you will. All the best. Let's do this and let's achieve greatness. Cheers.